Hi, I'm Dave and welcome to day 21 of RPG A Day 2015. So day 21 and today's topic is favourite RPG setting. That kind of finishes off this week of favourite fantasy, supers, science fiction, horror and that kind of business. So favourite setting. Tricky one. Okay. I've recruited the help of a gamer, game writer, blogger extraordinaire, Josh Fox, who's going to help out with this one. Over to you, Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh Fox from Black Armada Games, and I'd like to talk to you about my favourite role-playing game setting for RPG A Day. When I first started thinking about this topic, obviously, as you would, I ran through all the different settings that I played, and I realised that my favourite ones have something in common. They're all dark, bleak settings. If I go back to when I first started role-playing, I was interested in Dark Sun, Ravenloft, I liked Rifts, and although I've moved on from those traditional role-playing games now, I play a lot more indie stuff like Durance or Apocalypse World. That fundamental theme remains. Well, I had to think quite hard about what my favourite setting would be, and tough decision, but I've gone for Warhammer 40,000. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't played a lot of Warhammer 40,000 recently, but my longest running campaign was set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It's a Dark Heresy role-playing game, and for years I wargamed in that setting, so in the end that has to be my favourite. I love the bleak setting, the universe where ignorance has triumphed over knowledge. Nobody understands the high technology that they're wielding, except for a secretive cult, and the suspicion with which all people look upon their fellow humans with. Anyone could be a psycho or a mutant or a heretic. I love the fact that the universe is in siege conditions, constantly under threat from some form of alien attack or from supernatural forces, and what flickering hope there is. The Emperor on his golden throne is basically an old dead guy, a lifeless husk whose psychic essence remains but little else. And I love the vast amount of detailed background that's poured out of the authors of Warhammer 40k fiction and the fans alike to produce a really interesting world in which to roleplay. Again, to be honest, I tend to customise the background. I use that kernel of what I really like, the suspicion, the ignorance, all of those ideas, and I riff off them and create my own ideas about what the Warhammer 40k universe would look like. But fundamentally, it's that core that I really love. So there you are, my favourite role-playing setting, Warhammer 40k. Before I go, I just want to take the opportunity to plug a game which my partner and I are going to be publishing in September. It's called Lovecraft-esque. It is a storytelling game of brooding cosmic horror in the style of H.P. Lovecraft. If you like dark games, you'll probably like Lovecraft-esque. It's coming to Kickstarter soon, so check it out.
Thanks, Josh. That was awesome. Okay, I suppose I better answer the question as well. So, favourite RPG setting? For me, not a lot of choice here because there's one that really stands out, and the t-shirt probably gives it away. I'm a massive X-Files fan, always have been since that very, very first episode. I was absolutely obsessed with the X-Files. Anyway, a friend of mine, Jason, hi Jason, knew that I was very into the X-Files in a big way, and he lent me an RPG that he thought I might like, Conspiracy X. And I read it, and while initially I didn't get on with the rules because it was a little bit more complicated than I really wanted from a game, the game setting is fantastic. Wow. It's hard to describe, but it is basically heavily inspired by the X-Files, which is good. Players are part of a shadowy conspiracy called Aegis, who are trying to defend the Earth from alien invasion. But all their agents are actually, they have day jobs working usually in the FBI or the Department of Justice or the CIA or in the military, sometimes even in civilian life. And they kind of team up as cells to try and investigate the paranormal. And the great thing about the setting is that it's very, very well worked out. Second edition, which I spent 2 or 3 years working on this one, converting it all over to Unisystem, because I love the game setting so much and wanted to keep it tied in with Eden's other games that they were bringing out, like All Flesh Must Be Eaten and Witchcraft and Armageddon and things like that. But yes, I love Conspiracy X. Great setting. There was an awful lot of research went into the background, which was distilled down into the 3 source books that were in the original Conspiracy X ended up in here, in the extraterrestrial source book. Because basically, not giving the game away, there's 3 major alien races. The lizard people, the Saurians, who originally were on Earth before us and evacuated off in spaceships just before they and the dinosaurs became extinct, and they've turned around and come back because they want their planet back. In the meantime, while all that was going on, there's also the Greys, the Saucer Folk, the little grey aliens. They've decided to come to Earth to try and stop all our psychic noise which we're producing, which is actually hurting them on their home world. And then, of course, you've got the Atlanteans, who have been messing around with our planet for a long time with nanotech and stuff like that. It's great. And, of course, aliens are not the only part of the X-Files, but also the weird paranormal weird stuff like werewolves and the Jersey Devil and stretchy people. And yeah, of course, all that made it into Conspiracy X as well. There were a couple of books which made it into the paranormal source book, which covers things like the Abominable Snowman, Loch Ness Monster, and then you have occultists who are manipulating the psychic seepage to create magical effects, and then you've got psychics as well, like who have weird and wacky abilities. Great. And then the 4th and final book in the main Conspiracy X core sets was the Conspiracy source book, which looks at all the shadowy dealings and the goings on. And there's some huge chunks in here which have never seen the light of day before, detailing the origins of both Aegis and the National Defence Directorate, the opposing conspiracy. I love it. It's a great setting, and yeah, especially if you're an X-Files nerd. And of course, with the X-Files coming back next year, which I'm so excited about. Oh my god. Oh, Scully. Yeah, with the X-Files coming back next year, yeah, you could get yourself right into the mood a bit by playing some Conspiracy X. I know it sounds a bit of gratuitous self-plugging, seeing as I worked on it for so long. But no, it's not really plugging my stuff, because I didn't really do too much of it. I just kind of took the books that already existed and updated them and converted them over to Unisystem. And of course, there was a huge update because of the restructuring of the US government in between the 90s and the mid-2000s. So yeah, check it out if you can. It's a bit different. I know you weren't really expecting that. And it's probably not the kind of answer that you're going to come back with. Favourite RPG setting is probably going to be something a bit more traditional for you. You're going to pick something like Ravenloft. I can't beat a bit of Ravenloft, can you? Or Greyhawk, or Pavis if you're into RuneQuest and stuff like that. So what's your favourite setting? It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific game. I mean, it could be just a setting that you've created that you use throughout different game systems. Tell us all. Spread the word. Join in the conversation using the hashtag RPGaDAY2015 and put it on all social medias like Facebook, Twitter, G+, Instagram, and all those other things. Until next time, stay multi-classy.